alcohol, la 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 la. Just line 'em up and we will drink them all, la 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 la. But my mother always said, if you want to drink all day, you best start in the morning, son, 'cause that's the Irish way. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every other mother will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every mother must agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me, and you and me, and you and me. Let there be whiskey.
Hey, everybody, welcome once again to Nerds with Alcohol. I am Russ, your bass laying host this evening,
And I'm Chris,
and this is
who's
Nerds
just
with
going to
Alcohol.
try and talk normal because
Right. This is Nerds with Alcohol, guys. Welcome to the virtual nerd basement. As you can tell, I am dealing with a rhinovirus that struck me last week. I'm feeling okay, but unfortunately, the cough kind of thing kind of kicked in at the end there, which is great because I have a very full weekend.
Auntie Dawn's back. Welcome back. Hope everything went well.
Hey, Auntie, how'd your surgery go? We heard you had some surgery.
I hope everything's doing well for you and you're recovering well.
Yeah. So we had a little bit of a late start tonight. Had just the crazy time. She's recovering now, it says. Yep. Good. We're glad to hear that. Just a crazy time for me at work and at and everything else that I got going on. So I got home literally at 7:59, 7:58, something like that. And so then we jumped on real quick. But yeah, Auntie, thanks. Really glad that you're on the mend. Yes. Hopefully everything is going well. We were pulling for you. Yes, to your health. I'm not drinking alcohol tonight, but I'm toast you to some Pepsi. Tasty. Chris, how was your week, buddy?
It wasn't bad. I mean, it was a typical week. Did not have my other D&D game on Saturday because, like you, the DM for that game came down with something. He said it wasn't the vid, but it was enough to. But he's like, I'm just not feeling it. I haven't recovered enough. He said he was feeling better, but still not. It was one of those where he would feel better in the morning and then feel worse as the day went on, which always happens to me. It's like, oh yeah, I can go to work, and halfway to work, I'm like, why the fuck am I here?
Yeah.
But so didn't really do that. Watched the Lions get smacked by the Patriots on Sunday. So same old Lions.
Did they get bitch slapped?
Oh yeah, dude, 29-0.
All right, wow.
For the number one offense in the league through the first 4 weeks, they didn't score a point. But yeah, so overall though, I mean, just a lot of work. Been working quite a bit, getting a lot of stuff done. Feeling good about it. Still enjoying the job. So.
All right. Well, excellent. That's really great, man.
Played a little bit of Cyberpunk over the weekend, actually.
Oh yeah. I texted you and you were like, yeah, playing Cyberpunk, and I'm like, oh, awesome. How did you enjoy that?
Good. I'm still really early on in the game. I mean, I'm still looking for what's her name, Evelyn. Just went to Clouds. I mean, I'm really early in the game.
Oh, very early part of the game, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, overall,
so you basically started over.
I did. Yes, I did. I did start over because I had hit a point in the previous game where I couldn't figure out where I could go back to and get out of what I was doing. And when I did go back, I was trying to do a different mission and it just wouldn't load for me. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm just going back to the start. And I'll restart. I'll play a corpo this time.
Okay.
See how it goes. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
I haven't played a lot of it, but I mean, I played it for a couple hours on, I think it was Saturday.
Alrighty.
How about
That's
you?
great. I mean, I've been meaning to get back into that game, but I really kind of want to. I'm trying not to start a new game until I complete the one I'm playing right now.
I keep thinking about getting back to that one, getting back to Elder Scrolls, to Skyrim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I never finished that. I've got I think I looked, and according to Steam, I've got 120 hours on that.
On Skyrim?
Yeah.
That's, I mean, I think it's something around 200 hours to complete the main story and the majority of the side quests. If you kind of blaze through them, but I easily did at least 300 hours.
Yeah, I did not blaze through shit.
It's great, man. I mean, I love that. I still love that game so much. It's like my happy place.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I've only got 38 hours into it.
Oh, that's nothing then. You barely scratched the surface of Skyrim, my good brother.
Yeah, I just got my house. I was just building my house.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, building my building my first house. I've got
We got the house in Whiterun.
Yeah.
Now you're building your first house over by Falkreath, I think it is.
I don't know, someplace up north.
Oh, you got the house up in the north area.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Where the lumber mill is and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, that's my lightsaber there. I have to let me take care of that. What did I see? My week consisted of insanity. We are going on with our play. There was a question as to whether the next play that I'm in,
Mm-hmm.
Murder Mystery Dinner Theater play, because we needed to sell 30 more tickets in 3 days or something like that. And the tickets are $109. They're not cheap. And but we were able to do it. We pulled it out, and I think the last couple tickets got sold to friends, or family or something like that. They were like, "Come on, buddy, you said you wanted to come," kind of thing. And but we got some more tickets sold, and enough that we can go on. So that's great.
If it wasn't so far away, I'd have thought about doing it.
If we can, I mean, the thing is, man, I mean, as soon as we can get one, a show date closer, I think the idea that we're supposed to possibly do this show again in the fall or in the spring, I think, at a Knights of Columbus in Ypsilanti. I mean, it's still a little bit far for you, but it's not Eaton Rapids, it's
right.
not an hour and a half away.
Yes, it's half the distance. It's 45 minutes instead of an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly. That's people can travel for that.
Depends on the construction on 94. That's
yeah. For sure. So so we did have our rehearsal. We're basically doing a lot of prep for Theater Bazaar. Theater Bazaar goes on, so we open this Friday. It's pretty, it's going to be massive, going to be immense, going to be huge. We completely sold out a lot earlier than we normally do. There's some years that we still have tickets available at the door. It's still usually pretty full, but and our capacity is pretty substantial. I think our capacity is a bit lower this year because of COVID definitions, but we sold out. So whether they're old or not, or whether they're lower or not, it's still, we sold the fuck out. So that's a lot. It's a lot of fucking tickets. So I mean, it's literally
that place gets a little too crowded for me. I don't like the press crowd. I don't mind a crowd, but I don't like that press crowd where you're getting.
Yeah.
And there were some floors that you couldn't fucking move. And right. I'm like, nope, this isn't for me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the shows and stuff like that, and um, I had a good time. But yeah, there were just a couple points where I was just like, nope.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I mean, like if I wasn't working at it, I don't know if I'd go every year. I don't think I would. I'd probably go maybe every other year or something like that. Because I mean, it's a lot. It is a lot. But it's a lot of fun. If people are into it, they're really into it. They're like totally. I liken it to on some level to Renaissance Festival in that the fans that are really into it like just adore it and absorb it and you know.
I mean, you know me. I love dressing up and
Sure.
and in costume and stuff. And I did the whole devil thing, horns and all, and then I did a suit with a really fancy uh knotted tie and all that. And what was hilarious was walking in and all of the performers that are dressed as devils uh yelling at me because I was late, asking me where I'd been as we're waiting in line. It was hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, because we have all of our devils and everything. Because yeah, those are some of our lane performers are all our devils, some are clowns and stuff like that. It's just, guys, if you've never been to Theater Bazaar, I highly recommend it. It's one of the biggest Halloween events in the country. It's
It used to take up an entire block.
Yeah, it took up pretty much excuse me, not an entire block, but about five the backyards of five houses. Which is pretty substantial. I mean, that's a lot. Basically, it was an underground party. If you haven't heard me talk about it before, it was an underground party, big, huge Halloween event that a bunch of guys put on. They bought
a Halloween circus.
Yeah, they bought a bunch of houses in a really rough neighborhood. Well, kind of a dilapidated neighborhood in Detroit, right by the state fairgrounds. On State Fair, 7.5 mile. And right near Woodward. And then they took the back, the fences down, and then they proceeded in the backyards of these five houses to build a massive haunted attraction / concert venue / performance venue. It was pretty impressive and pretty crazy. The first year that I took part of it, it was the last year that it was going to be at the event, at the event space, but then the city shut it down because it had grown beyond its capacity. And they didn't have things like handicap accessibility and the proper fire exits and things like that. So the city shut it down. So we overnight picked up and moved as much stuff as we could to the Fillmore on Woodward Avenue, and we were able to have the event at the Fillmore, and it was a much more dumbed down event
That's a lot smaller.
It was a lot smaller, particularly for the amount of people. It was only one night. Normally originally it only was one night, and we didn't have near the room for all of the performers and stuff like that. And so then the following year, we moved it to the Masonic Temple in Detroit, where it has resided since then. And it's pretty fantastic. We haven't had one in the last 2 years because of COVID and the COVID pandemic concerns.
Just to let people know the scope too, it goes across 5 floors in the Masonic Temple?
8.
Is it 8 floors?
8 floors. Mm-hmm.
I thought it was only 5, but
no, I think it started off at like 5 or 6, and then we've just kind of added more and more to it. Now there isn't it's not every floor is jam packed with tons of stuff. Like I think on the very top floor is just like the photo booth, basically, where you can have your like a tin type like photo taken of yourself, things like that.
They had that on like the 5th floor when I was there, and that's what was causing the jam up on that floor, because that's also the floor where they had the burlesque and the cinema and I'm like,
remove that.
Yeah, I'm like we can't move through here.
Right. Yeah. Well, they've changed a bunch of stuff. There's been a great deal of reorganization. It's like they decided since we haven't been open, since we've had a 2-year break because of the pandemic, there was a lot of reorganization. And some of the upper management has been reorganized and changed. And for the most part, I'd say it's pretty good. I think things are a little more rigid in in the organization, because I mean, it did start off as this huge underground kind of counterculture party, and people were like, they were still treating it as such. And because now it's not a party. I mean, it is a party, but it's grown beyond that now. It's an event, and it's massive, and so it has to be treated seriously.
It has to be treated as an event, not just as that counterculture thing. It still is a counterculture thing.
Well, very much.
But it has to be treated like any other major event would be. And you have to have rules, and you have to have organization, and you have to have things set that this is the way we're going to do this.
Yeah, and it's just but like I said, I mean, and I think people did do that. It's just they're going to be a little more rigid about it, a little more serious about it, and I think that's good, you know. So there was also some people that were removed because they were toxic, and there's some other stuff, you know, some other, you know, drama and whatnot. But for the most part, it's been a pretty smooth transition, I'd say. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to
but yes, it is a costume mandatory event.
Yeah, you have to wear. I think I would have on hold the main mission where you trap a dragon. What?
It's Skyrim.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
when we talk about Skyrim.
That's a major. That's not quite at the end, but that's closer to the end. Yeah. But yeah, it is costume mandatory too. You have to have. They will not let you in if you just show up in bullshit. Like if you say you could just show up in like a like jeans and a Hawaiian shirt and say you're Ace Ventura. You know, come on, man. You gotta do better than that. They're like, no, go. Sorry, you're not getting in. And so yeah, you really gotta do it up at Theater Bazaar. And that's the other thing too. Like people will show up and they'll be like, yeah, I'm here. I'm, you know, and they'll come in a relatively shitty costume. And then when they see what other people are showing up in, they'll be like, holy shit. And I've seen people step up their game the next time they come in. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, the year that Renee and I went as a devil in a suit. Mm-hmm. I was the fancy devil. Mm-hmm. And I thought I looked pretty badass. And then
I remember
Renee went as a vampire, and she looked great.
Mm-hmm. You guys looked great. I kept getting shit from my buddy David, who was the head of the makeup department, because I would sometimes I just didn't have a lot of time to make a costume because I'm so busy this time of year, and so I would just usually wear Ren Fair garb. And I got some really nice Ren Fair garb, particularly after I started having my superhero stuff made. Mm-hmm. And some fun garb, and I would walk around and I'd wear that stuff, and he would be like, and he would call me out on it, and that's not a costume for you. That's your clothes. That's your work clothes, man. Those are your work clothes. That's not a costume. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he's right. And it was. I mean, it's like you do. If you're a Rennie and you wear Ren Fair garb to a costume party, you should get called out because that's bullshit. It's cheating. So what?
No, I'm just laughing at you. You should get called out. That's bullshit.
You should. It's bullshit. You know, I mean, that's your work clothes. So the following year, I did make a costume. I mean, I did use one of my festival like peasant shirts, but I went as Fabio, and so I had the girls in the hair and makeup department like give me a blowout, so my hair was big, mm-hmm. and they did like kind of give me some dramatic eye makeup. And I was wearing a peasant shirt and some very tight leather jeans, and I was Fabio.
Fabio. I remember you doing Fabio. I remember seeing the picture.
Yes, I was Fabio, and it was funny. Like my friends were like, "You should have brought a tub of I can't believe it's not butter." I went, "Oh shit! Oh, I forgot. I should have." So, yeah.
That would have been really funny.
It was really funny, but it was funny because like all night I did get people coming up to me, and I had my beard still at the time, my beard and mustache, and I didn't shave it. And Fabio was known. He didn't really have that. And But people still were like, "Are you Fabio?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yes, I am Fabio." It was really funny, but it got David off my back. He goes, "Yep, it's a costume. It is." And then, but last year I did one weekend. I did Oliver Ogre, and then one Saturday I did a variation on the costume, and I had my face and all done up in like a green kind of orcish makeup, and I did like an orc, and that was pretty cool too, because I just was like had the tusks that I made, the original tusks I made, and I just was just oh my god, yeah, how you doing, eh? I'm an orc, and it was fun. So
yeah, I just posted that pic for CD. I saw he's already seen it. So on Discord, the one of Renee and I from when we went to Theater Bazaar.
What? Let me see. Oh yes, I remember. Oh yeah. Now Renee did your makeup that night, right?
Yeah, she did my makeup. I couldn't do that by myself.
No, you can't. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. But yeah, you guys looked great. I remember I did run into you at that point. It was pretty cool. So I'll have to see if I can dig up the Fabio picture. I know there's at least one or two in there.
Yeah, Renee said she tried.
She tried to do the makeup. It was good. Don't give yourself some credit. It was great. Yeah, CD, actually at Theater Bazaar, we carve hundreds of pumpkins. Like several hundred pumpkins get carved for Theater Bazaar as part of the decor. It was pretty impressive. You know, I got the invite for the pumpkin carving for Wednesday night, and I'm like, I have no time. I'm sorry, no way. Excuse me, goodness.
Yeah, I'm kind of going. I'm going through like some of the pictures right now from Theater Bazaar when I went. It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it's a great time. It really is an amazing event. So, oh hey, you know what? I found it. Let's see. This is the one with Jesus. This is a friend of mine sent me this. This was I think this was close to when I was still getting my hair and makeup done, so I'm kind of a mess. Yeah. And it was in the hair. Hang on, I'll put it in the. So this is really exciting for the listeners. So
well, you know, if they were, you know, subscribers, they would see all these pictures and stuff.
Yeah, you can see the pictures in our Discord channel and stuff. So let me see. I don't think I've ever posted a picture in Discord. How do I? Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's see. Upload a file.
Yeah, or you can
will upload.
Here's a picture from actual. That's like from one of the halls. But yeah, so we can also move on to.
Yeah, let's move on. What are you drinking? I'm not drinking anything tonight. What are you drinking?
I'm actually drinking. I'm not drinking beer tonight. At least not yet. I've been really enjoying. So I enjoy gin and tonics, but they tend there's a lot of acidity in that, and it tends to a lot of times will like upset my stomach.
Yeah.
And so someone actually suggested that I try vodka tonic.
That was early on in the night, by the way. That picture had to have been taken fairly early because there's almost nobody in the hall there. Anyway, you're saying vodka. Someone suggested I try vodka tonic.
And it might have been on here. I don't know. It might have been actually CD. I don't remember. Somebody told me that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give that a try. So I have tried them, and I got to say, I am a big fan of vodka tonic. It sits better with me than gin and tonic does. I still love gin and tonics, but whereas a gin and tonic I can have one, a vodka tonic, this is my third one tonight. So it's I've got a couple of limes in there. It looks like I'm drinking water, but I am using Coppercraft vodka, and it's really good. I truly enjoy it. This is actually out of Holland, Michigan, Coppercraft Distillery. They do a great bourbon. Their gin's really good. I've liked everything I've had by them. And their rye whiskey's really good too. But yeah, it's very good. I like it a lot. Yeah, a vodka tonic, just vodka, tonic water, and some lime.
All right, right on. Very, very cool.
You said you're not drinking tonight?
Yeah, I'm just like, man, I'm just like wiped, and I don't got I don't have the energy or the.
You don't have the spoons to.
I don't have the spoons. I mean, I didn't get a chance to go and even get anything. It's all, yeah. So maybe next week I'll be able to actually do some drinking.
So CD's drinking Son of Juice from Maplewood, 6.3%. Awesome. Best juicy IPA. Maplewood Brewing has great beer, and I see they have gin and whiskey too. Okay, cool. Verner's and water. So yeah, lots to talk about. First of all, just heard the news this evening that at 96 years of age, Angela Lansbury passed away.
Yes.
I wasn't a huge fan, but I mean, she was part of my childhood. The whole bed knobs and broomsticks.
I was just gonna say bed knobs and broomsticks for sure.
That's what I remember her from, and a lot of people do remember her from like Murder She Wrote, because that went on for like ever and ever and ever.
I think that was probably where a lot of people came to know her from,
But and then she did the voice of Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast.
That's true. That is true as well. Yeah.
Renee was looking her up, and she actually did a lot of Disney.
Yes,
she did a ton of Disney stuff.
Yeah, she was an actress that worked. She worked for decades. I mean, it was crazy. So
yeah, she started working. She was doing movies by the time she was like 20.
Yeah, exactly.
In the 40s. I guess she was born in England but moved to the States she was born in 1925 and then moved to the United States. In the United States in 1940 because her parents wanted to escape the Blitz.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty smart, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, yeah. So I mean, a toast to Ms. Angela Lansbury. Thank you for everything you gave to us.
Very talented. Well, I can't say slancha because
it's to your health. So yeah.
Is that supposed to be Russ? CD just asked in the picture if that's supposed to be you. That is Russ, actually.
That was me. Yeah.
And not the one with the makeup on. He's the other one.
Yeah, I'm the other one. My hair, it's funny because like I said, I was looking them to just kind of give me big hair, and it was they were in the process of trying to give me a blowout and give me this like really big hair. And my hair was kind of
Bob's about to chime in, so
this of course, yeah. They're real Russ with facial hair. Thanks. I've got a bit of scruff right now.
Must have been back in his DJ days or modeling.
No. I was let's see, that was God, what year? Well, I think that was probably
the same year that I was there, wasn't it? That was 2017.
No, it might have been 17. Because I think in 18 I did like a preliminary ogre.
Yeah, I think you did. So I think that was 17. I think that was the same year I was there.
Yeah, so that might have been 17. Great makeup and hair can fix it. Thanks, CD. I appreciate that. So it's in the chat there in the Discord.
Renee agreed. Real Russ with facial hair.
Listen, all y'all, I can't really have it right now because of my job.
So a bunch of other things came out. You said that you watched the first 2 episodes of Andor.
I did.
So what do you think of it?
All right, I think it's good. It's definitely slow moving, but I did like it. I do think it's. I've had people tell me it's some of the best Star Wars they've ever seen. That it's. Excuse me. It's probably some of the most mature as well, because it's serious. I mean, this isn't a laughing matter kind of situation, And,
no, this is the starts of the rebellion.
Yeah, it's the kind of the very beginnings of it and stuff,
or at least the heart of the rebellion.
Yeah, we're seeing honestly, you're seeing the beginnings of how like how the empire was affecting people too,
Mhm.
because you're like seeing that security company where the guy
Yeah.
where that Andor, killed the two guys that were shaking him down. You can see how they were like, some of those guys were like, we have to have order. We have to have these outer rim colonies. We need to bring them to task and take them to, and whatever. And you can see the one, like Scottish guy who was just the heavier set security guy.
Oh,
that they
the
bring in,
sergeant.
the sergeant, and he's a tough guy and everything. And he's all about that rigid control. And he had that kid that the guy that's the lieutenant, that's the lieutenant that is kind of leading the investigation. He's over his head, but he's passionate about.
He also disobeyed a direct order.
Oh yes, he did, because his superior told him to let it go.
Yep.
Just make something up. Tell that they let people know that these guys died, during doing their duty, and not like
family will get the benefits and
And instead, this kid is like, no, these guys died. We need to. I mean, and I get the point. He does have a point. He's right that they should investigate and stuff like that. But the older officer also knew. He was like, well, this one guy was an asshole, and he was probably doing something shady that got himself killed.
Yep.
It's like these people aren't worth our time. So it's kind of a what are you gonna do? And this young guy didn't know these guys. He was just bothered by the fact that somebody would dare to kill two people that he worked with, or two people that worked for his.
Well, yeah, he's very much he's very much lawful neutral.
Oh yeah.
He has a code. He's like, nope, we have to follow it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I like it. I do certainly like it. I'm looking forward to watching some more and seeing where it's going to go from here. I mean, well, we know ultimately where it's going to go, but
so 2 episodes and you haven't met Skarsgård yet.
No, yeah, barely.
Oh, so he had his meeting.
He comes in the end. He lands his ship.
Okay,
and the ship's like, he's like, not any place closer, and the ship's like, not safely. And so he has to walk in, and then he's riding in, and there's this older guy like talking to him and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, you really haven't met him yet.
Not really, no.
Yeah, that's the third episode.
So yeah, it's I mean, like I said, it's absolutely fantastic. Well shot. I like that it is dark and kind of depressing, you know.
Well, and then in the 4th episode, Mon Mothma comes in.
Oh wow!
And you
Mon
start,
Mothma.
Yeah, and there's a lot with her and what she's going through and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of things tied in here for like deep Star Wars lore.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's really kind of
cool. I'm really enjoying it a great deal. So be sure to check this one out, guys. Man, Andor is for, if you're a fan, if you are definitely a Star Wars fan, you really should check this out, because it's sharp. It's really sharp stuff, and the some really really fantastic performances too. So be sure to check it out.
I'm also watching Rings of Power. I don't think you've started that one yet.
I haven't started Rings of Power yet, and honestly, I'm extremely excited about it. And I just haven't had the chance to get to it yet.
I'm going to tell you, it's another one that starts off kind of slow, but it's picking up in the 3rd episode, which Renee and I have watched. I think that's where we are, is the 3rd episode. It's really, I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I like it a lot. One of the things that's funny is in this last episode, Elrond actually travels to the Dwarven kingdom of Khazad-dûm, which is from the Lord of the Rings movies, the Fellowship of the Ring. That's where they what's his name fights the Balrog.
Gandalf,
yeah. I kept thinking Elminster, but I'm like, no, it's not Elminster. It's who Elminster was based on. But anyway, they while they're there, he's talking with the prince of the dwarves and his wife, Princess Disa. And Renee's like, wait a minute, is her name Disa? And I'm like, yeah, because that's Klimbrum's mother's name.
Oh, neat.
And she's like, it's spelled different, but that's the same name. And she's like, I just pulled that out of the player's handbook.
That's funny.
But yeah, there's all sorts of things. I mean, there's I've read The Lord of the Rings, but I was never like a big super fan of The Lord of the Rings. I enjoyed them. I thought they were great books. I did enjoy. I watched the animated show or the animated movie when I was a kid multiple times. Every time it was on TV. But I love the movies, but I've never really been into it. But I mean, seeing some of this stuff and getting more history and seeing the Harfoots, where the hobbits come from, and seeing the elves from that time and their current, like in one of the episodes we just watched, Galadriel's in Numenor, and things. It's really kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I mean, it is like Galadriel's a young elf at this point,
yes.
Right? Yeah. So it's just like thousands of years ago.
Yeah, and she was actually being sent back to the Shining Lands for her service, and she jumped off the boat.
Right.
And I'm like, you're in the middle of the goddamn ocean. What the fuck are you gonna do?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I heard that too about Galadriel just jumps off the goddamn boat. Like, okay, that was a good idea.
Well, she was being sent to heaven, basically.
Yeah,
and
right. That's where the elves go, you
yep.
know, when they die, essentially.
And she's like, you know what? No, I ain't ready for that.
And she was really young, though, too. That's the thing, you know.
But that was the thing. She was given this honor where she got to go back. She got to leave Middle Earth and go back to the Elven lands and where she could be for eternity.
Mm-hmm. And instead chose to stay in Middle Earth and rule. All right.
Well, it was mostly to fight. She knows that Sauron's still out there.
Exactly.
To this point, he was just a general for the big bad who came before him.
Because that's the thing. Sauron is like, at this point, he's not the necromancer. He's not like this. He's just kind of he's a bad dude, but he's not the guy that, you know, the Dark Lord, essentially, that comes later.
No, this is his rise to power.
Right.
And then the end of this age is that battle. The massive battle against the forces of Mordor.
Okay. Do you think that's going to get another season?
I think so. I do believe it's going to. And at least I hope it does, because it is a high budget show because of, I mean, there's a lot in the way of sets and things like that. But I think they'll get it. I think they'll get one. I mean, they gave Wheel of Time a second season. So okay. I think they will.
Okay. Cool.
Speaking of second seasons, I'm still waiting for the second season of Carnival Row. I keep hearing about it, but there's still no dates or whether or not they're even filming it.
Carnival Row. Oh yeah, with the one with
Orlando Bloom and
Orlando Bloom. Yeah.
What's her name? Is it Claire?
No. Yeah.
Carnival Row. It is Cara Delevingne.
Cara Delevingne.
Cara Delevingne.
Cara Delevingne. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, I dug that show. I thought that was really, really sharp.
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. Really cool. So yeah, dude, I'd love to see more of that. That'd be really fucking cool.
But also speaking of second seasons, we get the second season of Critical Role: The Legend of Vox Machina
In
in
January.
January, and they announced that they're getting a third season.
They did. Now I'm fucking stoked about this. I had heard about it. I'd heard that they were doing this, I'm pretty sure that they might have said the stuff about that earlier. I can't remember what it was.
It was announced Thursday, just before New York
I could have
Comic
sworn,
Con.
didn't they announce the third? No, maybe I'm wrong. I'm trying to think if it was Invincible as well that did say we're getting a third season. No, I can't remember. Oh, well, I do know. Maybe I'm confusing it with the fact that the AMC Plus okayed a second season on Interview with the Vampire even before the show premiered. So that might be part of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that yet because I'm not buying Amazon or AMC Plus.
Me neither. I'll wait until those shows go to another streaming service like Hulu or something. But as much as interested as I am in the Interview with the Vampire show, because I've heard that it's fucking amazing, I can't buy another fucking streaming platform. I just can't. No, even if those shows are amazing, I just can't do it.
It's like there's stuff on Apple TV, Apple Plus TV, or Apple TV, whatever the fuck it is, that I would like to watch, but I'm not buying an Apple subscription.
Yeah, if it's good enough, and they put it out in a Blu-ray, I'll fucking get the Blu-ray, but I just fucking can't.
I've hit my saturation point, I think, of streaming services.
Me too. Just too many. So, what else? Yeah, so what we were saying, Critical Role season 2, January.
Yep.
Super excited. They have released a teaser and it looks really cool as usual. I'm like, yep, let's do it. The Critical Role cartoon, Legend of Vox Machina, was just a stellar standout cartoon, and I'm really excited to see where it's going next. Because
animated series.
You're right. Absolutely. Call a spade here. It's a spectacularly good animated series. Well done. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what I wanted. I've got a couple of things here. So excuse me, goodness. I got a bunch of quick hits from the comic book industry. They're coming up. They've been making some, now that it's October, the comic industry is starting to tease things coming for 23. Storylines that are coming and kind of big deal things. One of the things that they are doing is the DC is reinventing the Superman titles for a new family-based era in 23. Now, one of the things that was a big kind of telling point or story point for Superman for decades was that he was the last of his kind. And then eventually his cousin came around, Supergirl, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I think before the Supergirl actually came Krypto, his dog. But and then the Battle City of Kandor was discovered. So then we had a bunch of these miniature, Kryptonians. And so he wasn't the last of his kind. He was just one of the last. And then over the years, they also have kind of revealed, well, there might be some more Kryptonians out there, because Krypton did for a while have a spacefaring program. They just so they might have spread out. There were some Kryptonians out there. There's just not as many, and blah blah blah. So they had established that there were probably a few other Kryptonians. And then you also had Power Girl too, which was she was also kind of a Kryptonian. Well, over the last couple of years, they have been establishing that Superman has other, besides his family, besides Supergirl and whatnot. Now he has a son, Jonathan, who they've been building his character, and he is a second Superman now. And now Superman just spent time on Warworld, basically freeing Warworld, where he discovered there was an offshoot, a branch of Kryptonians that had left Krypton tens of thousands of years ago, and they had been captured and had been taken to Warworld. And so the descendants of these Phalosians, they were called the Phalosians, were on Warworld. And he went to Warworld, he freed them from Mongol, and now he has two more kids, a girl and a boy, a couple of preteens that are now living with him on Earth, or going to be. So they're going to be moving into this storyline with Superman and his family of Kryptonians. They're doing some pretty dramatic changes. Oh, and then of course we also have Connor, or Connell, the Superboy, the clone Superboy, who's kind of like his kid brother. So they're also making some pretty dramatic changes to the majority of the costumes of these other superhuman Superman family. Superman Kal-El will have his traditional costume with his cape and everything else, but Jonathan Kent and Steel and everybody else will pretty much have jackets. They'll be wearing kind of a jacket. Okay, I'll give it its chance.
They're gonna sing like Grease Lightning and shit like that too as they're flicking their jackets.
Shut up, dude. All right. Personally,
come on, they got all the Brill cream in their hair. That's how they get that curl, right?
That's how they get the curl, right? I don't think Kara Zor-El needed a change to her costume, another change to her costume. I've always liked the various Supergirl, kind of the cape and the skirt and the things that she had. Instead, she has, they've got like this kind of stylized, kind of almost a uniform. Each of them is a little bit different. Each of them has their own kind of take on it. And they're also including the Superman of China too. Kenan Kong, I think is his name. And so he is I don't know all of the details. Is he Kryptonian too? He's not Kryptonian, he's human. But I think he gained powers during some sort of
that was my thing too.
Accident.
CD, I didn't realize there was a Superman of China.
There is. I think it's more like
I'm sorry, if you're not Kryptonian, you can't be in the club.
There's a lot.
You can't be part of the K-Birds.
You can't be part of the K-Birds. Did you just say that?
Yes.
I don't like you anymore. What are you doing?
It's the T-Birds. It's the K-Birds because they're Kryptonian. It's the Thunder.
Yeah, I got the joke. I just didn't like it. Anyway, there's going to be some pretty dramatic changes, and it I don't know. I'm hoping it should be cool. There's the costume designs are very modern and very cool. They look more like they're wearing almost like workout uniforms with like a kind of a motorcycle jacket, not like a biker jacket, but like more like a speed motorcycle jacket kind of tied over them. And then they've got the two younger kids. And so, yeah, it's basically the House of L. We're also going to have, they're going to have a big storyline called Lazarus Planet coming up too. That's going to be
going to resurrect everybody.
I don't know. It looks like it's going to be another big, a big kind of like event kind of thing. Now, I think
the new 104.
Yeah. Well, do you remember the electric Superman? Remember that when Superman had like electric powers in the 90s, they tried to give him this big change to Superman, and they gave him like where he basically, when he depowered, he was a depowered Kryptonian, but then he would power up and he would have these blue electric powers, and it lasted for like a year. They're going to be bringing that back, but it looks like John Kent, his son, is going to have some variation on that power now. So we'll see. I mean, I'm all about expanding the mythos and experimenting. I really like that, but at the same time, I'm like, let's make it cool, guys. Don't make it stupid. So I'll read up on this, and I'll probably be we'll talk about it more later. Also, we've got this is the 2023 is the 20-year anniversary of Invincible. Speaking of animated series, the Invincible animated show on Amazon, one of the best animated shows I've ever seen.
Fantastic.
Based on the comic book Invincible by Robert Kirkman, the guy who created The Walking Dead. It was considered one of probably the most successful new superhero franchise in the last 20 years of this century. It ran for 15 years, 144 episodes or 144 issues, and it is absolutely fantastic. It did spawn a animated series, which did get a second season on Amazon Prime, and we'll probably get a third season because it's really freaking good.
Yes, it is very brutal, CD.
And it is brutal. It is absolutely brutal. No kidding around. I need to rewatch it too. It's amazing. But yeah,
it's one of those where you go. Somebody says, "Oh yeah, that was written by the guy that did Walking Dead." Oh, okay, I see it.
Yeah, because it is a superhero show, but it is brutal. So yeah, this January, they're saying a 20th anniversary drop. So Skybound, which is the publishing company for Invincible through Image, is going to be dropping a lot of anniversary titles and things for a lot of collected editions and stuff like that for coming out. They're also saying some new stuff potentially as well. So we got to keep yourself open. They're going to be having Invincible Undeluxe in issue 1, which is going to be it says Skybound. It's a cutting room. They'll be joined by Invincible Undeluxe number 1, a one-shot reprint of the first issue in black and white that will also feature an installment of the Cutting Room Floor, featuring Kirkman's original handwritten plot and commentary, along with an array of variant covers. So it'll be the first, it's a reprint of the first issue with some extra kind of bonus stuff put in. There's going to have a couple of compendiums featuring some of the other side stories and miniseries and whatnot. So if you guys are a fan of Invincible, you want to kind of look at some of go to the backstory and dude, I highly recommend. When people ask me, like, particularly somebody who's never read comics before and likes superheroes, and they want to get into reading comics, I go, read Invincible. You don't got 60 years of backstory to read. You've got more, right? There's not the character isn't bogged down by all of this decades and decades and decades of continuity to read. It was 144 issues. It's a lot, but it's not 68 to 80 to almost to almost 90 years of backstory. When we're coming up, we're coming up fairly soon on 2029 will be
100 years for Superman.
No, it'll be 30, excuse me. 20 it was 1938 was Superman.
Oh.
So 28 will be 90 years.
Yeah.
28 will be 90 years. And then 29 will be 90 years for Batman. So holy shit, it's a long fucking time. So check out Invincible if you guys are curious, because it is a fantastic.
The CD was asking if you can read those online anywhere.
I don't think so. You might be able to buy them digitally, like through Amazon, and read them through a reader,
like a Kindle or something.
A Kindle or something like that, but I'm not sure. You could look through. I would go to the Skybourne website, see if they have them available digitally. So, or I want
to get the bound editions.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Or you can look through. You could go to. There's a bunch of different comic reading. Digital comic reading programs that you can go through. They might be listed. I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, the nice thing about Invincible is that they've got these huge, thick motherfucking compendiums. I think there's 4 of them for the entire series, and they're this fucking thick. They're like $80 a piece, so they're not cheap, but you can pick them up. You can get the entire series. It may not be $80, but they're substantial, and Then you can get the entire series in a couple of books, like 3 or 4 books. It might be 3. But they are substantial, dude. It's pretty crazy. Let me see. I collected it, so I have every issue, and it's me. I absolutely love it. That's kind of one of my prize collections there. And let's see, Invincible Compendium #1, first thing that comes up, and on Amazon, the Invincible Compendium is $51.48 with a cover price of $65. So I think it looks like there are 3 of them. So yeah, you could get the entire series for roughly $150. That's pretty awesome.
Okay. One of the other things coming out is we're getting Daredevil Reborn or Born Again. That's what
Yes.
Born Again.
Yes, Born Again.
And someone put out a picture that showed like the cast,
Mhm.
but I guess there's some doubt as to, I guess that wasn't really legit. Because basically it was showing that everyone was coming back.
Mhm.
And now there's some people,
Yeah,
I
and
guess.
it included Tatiana Maslany as well.
Yes, as
in that
She-Hulk.
picture.
But I guess what's her name? Isa Gonzalez denies being cast as Elektra in the series.
Okay. Hey, CD, just so you know, you can get these on Amazon, and you can get them in the Kindle format if you want to read
Yeah, he said
these
Kindle
comics.
Kindle edition on Amazon, 30 to 40 per compendium.
Yep, $40 Kindle and Comixology for the digital thing, and like the compendium 3. So there are 3 compendiums. So, and it runs, so like if they're $40 a piece, that's $120 for 144 issues of comics. It's not bad.
But basically they were back to Daredevil. They were they basically had put up that, you know, we were going to see Deborah Ann Wall again as Paige, and
Ellen Page,
what's his name is Foggy, and basically everyone that you saw in there, and they even had John Bernthal listed as Punisher.
Yeah.
And from what I'm seeing now, though, when you actually look, there's actually only 3 people that are confirmed to be in the new Daredevil series, and that's Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, and Alaqua Cox. Right.
So those, man, so talk about a dick tease, right? Jeez.
Yeah. Because even at the bottom they put in I forget who, and Rosario Dawson as Claire.
Now a few of these actors, I'm like, well, what else have they got going on? You know, I mean, the girl who played Karen Page,
Deborah Ann Wall.
Deborah Ann Wall, I don't think she's got a whole lot going on. She's been doing a lot of D&D streaming and stuff. She's gotten way into being a live action D&D gamer. But I mean, I'd have to check her IMDb, but I don't think I mean, some of these people, like, what else they got going on? Let's like holy shit, you know? I don't understand why they wouldn't jump at the chance to Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Holy shit. I heard they were making a 3rd one, but or a 4th one, or whatever the fuck it is. Let's see.
So yeah, Deborah Ann Wall had Ida Red in 2021. In 2022, she's got a short called Willing to Go There. 2021 was also Escape Room Tournament of Champions.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's done a little bit, but not much.
Yeah, she hasn't done a ton of stuff, right.
Yeah, she's been doing the Relics and Rarities, which is her D&D show. Right,
and then she's also been on some of the other, like she was on the Dungeons and Dragons Legends of the Multiverse.
She was also on Critical Role.
Yeah, she's been on Critical Role. I mean, she's done some stuff, but since Daredevil was probably the biggest thing that she has done.
Well, she was also in Punisher, so.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, the Netflix Marvel shows, the biggest things that she's done of late.
Well, since True Blood. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Where she kind of got her big break. Eldon Henson, who plays Foggy Nelson, now he's been working since he was a kid. But I think, let's see, How to Tie a Noose, The Mighty Ducks Game Changers. So he's a character. He came back to be on that because he was in the original Mighty Ducks, if I remember correctly. Max the Mighty, Daredevil. I mean, Daredevil, he was on Daredevil and Luke Cage and The Defenders. Yeah, he hasn't done a whole lot since then either. It's almost like they were probably, they were kind of prepping to be on, these shows. Yeah, I mean, John Bernthal, he's done a bunch of things. I mean, he's a pretty big name actor.
He's pretty big right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Even did a video game.
What did he do?
He did Ghost Recon.
Oh, yeah.
The one I have, I can't think of the name, which one it is. But
no, yeah, that's right. I remember seeing Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Yeah, Breakpoint, yeah. He's like one of the bad guys in it.
Yeah, he's done a bunch of stuff. The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Peanut Butter Falcon, Ford versus. He was Lee Iacocca in Ford v Ferrari. Those Who Wish Me Dead, King Richard, Small Engine Premiere. He was Johnny Soprano in The Many Saints of Newark. So he's Tony's dad. The Unforgivable, Sharps. He's done a whole bunch of shit, and he's got his own show called American Gigolo right now. So his own TV series. So yeah, I don't, if we don't see John Bernthal back as the Punisher, I think I was telling Stella, because I was telling her about, because when we were watching She-Hulk last week, and of course, no spoilers, everybody knows Daredevil was on the 8th episode. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. And I was giving her some background on the Netflix shows, and we were talking about John Bernthal, and I was like, yeah, he did a pretty good job as the Punisher, but I just felt like he wasn't quite large enough. The Punisher's got to be the kind of guy that when he walks in the room, people are like, who's the big guy? I've always felt that the Punisher should be like 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", and just be a physically very intimidating person. And I think Bernthal, he's just kind of, I mean, he's not a short guy as far as I know, but I just felt like he wasn't quite large enough.
He's 5'11". So
okay, 5'11". I'm taller than he is. Okay, and I just think,
but you're not nearly as wide as he is.
No, of course not. But I still think that you should that the Punisher needs to be over 6 feet tall. And Stella was like, yeah, the thing is, it's hard to find actors that tall in Hollywood. I'm like, that's true. It is true.
And honestly, I thought he was fantastic as
I thought he did a great job. I just thought physically I would have liked to have seen somebody just a bit bigger. But otherwise,
I didn't have that. I never really read The Punisher. I've seen most of the Punisher movies that have been out, including the Dolph Lundgren one. And I've always liked him when I've seen him in the comics, but it's one of those things where I never really had that issue because I thought Bernthal was plenty big. I mean, he looked like a military guy, ex-military guy. I liked the size. I think Dolph Lundgren was a good size for the Punisher. I think he needed to be larger than life, like a big dude. I think, but honestly, he didn't need blonde hair.
No, of course not. Well, they dyed his hair in that movie.
I know.
I honestly think Travis Willingham would make a good Punisher.
Yeah, he's got to shave.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's a very big guy. He's got that very deep, he can drop down into that deep register. He's a good actor. He's a hell of an actor, honestly. And I think he could do that role. I think he really could. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents on that.
But anyway, yeah, so they were basically saying that everyone was coming back, and now it looks like that was just somebody's wishful thinking. I know there's lots of talk that they want everyone back. Yeah,
for sure. Good night, Renee. She's leaving here.
Good night, Renee.
So yeah, they definitely want everybody back. It's like whether they'll get them back, who knows?
Yeah, I really want the same guy to play Foggy.
Yeah, he was great. He was great.
And I thought him and Charlie Cox had a great rapport. between each other. I honestly I liked Deborah Ann Wall as Karen, although if she got recast, I don't know that I would really care that much.
I liked her, but I also like her as an actress. I think I've always kind of liked Deborah Ann Wall, particularly after we found out she was this big D&D nerd. I was like, oh, that's awesome. But pretty much like if they were to like recast her, I wouldn't be like all that. I wouldn't be upset, wouldn't be bummed out. I was going to you know what real quick here, I did hear about where is that? The Deadpool, Blade, Fantastic Four, and Avengers Secret Wars delayed as Marvel changes their schedule. Marvel Phase 5 and 6 are getting a release date shakeup, with Disney pushing back 4 coming titles from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Mahershala Ali's Blade reboot has moved to September 6th, back from its original September 6th of 24, back from its original November 3rd of 23. They're giving it almost a full year, pushing it. The news comes from just hours after Marvel had reportedly paused production on Blade, with many speculating the studio is doing so in order to take time to find a new director. Deadpool 3, starring Ryan Reynolds and no longer retired Wolverine actor Hugh Jackman, has moved to November 8th, 24 instead of September 6th of 24. So that's a month, not a big deal.
2 months.
The highly anticipated, yet to be cast Fantastic Four is now set to premiere on February 14th of 25, back from November 8th of 24.
By the way,
a couple months.
Did you see that John Krasinski made a tweet about the Ryan Reynolds announcement?
No.
When he posted on it, said, "Wait, is this our movie?" And someone else came back saying something else. And he went, "Oh, carry on."
See, I don't believe any of this shit that these motherfuckers are saying. Not until we see like an official fucking trailer and shit. Like I believe that Hugh Jackman's going to be in Deadpool 3. I believe that, because it has been like there's been enough corroboration now. But some of these like tweets and shit, they're just teasing us. They're just fucking teasing us. Fuck that. Avengers Secret Wars, the last installment in the multiverse saga, has moved to May 1st of 26 instead of November 7th of 25. And Avengers The Kang Dynasty is still slated for May 2nd of the 25 release. That means the two films will no longer debut 6 months apart. Instead, it'll be a year apart. It's likely that Blade is the reason for the shakeup, though things weren't looking good for the pre-production process, according to recent reports. I don't know what the whole deal is, but it doesn't look good. Yeah, the reboot pauses production. They are looking for a new director. That Bassam Tariq has left the project. So Tariq did say, "It's been an honor working with wonderful folks at Marvel. We were able to put together a killer cast and crew, eager to see where the next director takes the film." So I would like to know like what it was that caused this guy to jump ship, because doing a Marvel movie, man, that's one, big money, and two, big notoriety.
Yep.
So
yeah, so I'm sorry, it's John Krasinski. But he tweeted, "Wait, is this our movie?" And then Sean Levy, who I think is the director, said, "Sorry, JK, this one's all mine."
Yeah. All right. Jesus. So yeah, we've got that, and so did you catch have you watched Werewolf by Night on Disney Plus?
Have not watched it yet.
Okay.
Plan on watching it before Halloween, but
you really got to check it out. Stella and I watched it the other night. There's some deep cuts, some deep Marvel lore cuts, and I was just like, I was blown away. It's all done in mostly black and white. And it's just they did it really well, really fantastically well. Remember the Nevers, that show on HBO Max?
Yes.
The Nevers, that
loved it.
Yeah, the lead actress on that show plays Elsa Bloodstone, and she's great. She's fantastic. And the guy who plays Jack Russell is the Werewolf by Night, really fantastic. The werewolf makeup and special effects they do, it's a very traditional Werewolf by Night man wolf. He's or werewolf, he looks like that traditional 60s 70s werewolf, not the big Krynos, like I'm a wolf on two legs. It's the wolf man kind of thing, but it's done very well. Now, me personally, I love werewolves. And one of my favorite werewolf form is that underworld. I'm a huge, hulking, monstrous wolf on two legs with giant, huge raking claws. And, that's my favorite kind of werewolf. I think that's fantastic. But I got to admit, the way they did this for the Jack Russell, the, Werewolf by Night, absolutely fantastic. And there's some great surprises. There's some really great deep cuts. I don't want to say too much because you know me, I'll say too much to piss you off with my spoilering. But you'll really check it out as soon as you can, and when you do, we'll do a review.
So one of the other things we've been talking about before we get to She-Hulk, because we're coming up. We've been going for about an hour and 10 minutes now, so got to keep cognizant. And
keep on task. Yeah. Keep on task. Come on, Chris.
So one of the things, CD posted it in the chat on our Discord channel. Which, by the way, if you subscribe, you can actually be part of the chat of the Discord channel. You just link your Discord with your Twitch subscription, and you can get in. But he posted the trailer for season 3 of Picard.
Spot on. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. There were a couple of holy shit moments for me in there.
Now, I know CD watched it. CD, I know you weren't a big fan of Picard. I liked Picard a lot. I mean, I've always said.
He said you can see Hot Russ too.
Pardon me?
You can see Hot Russ if you join the Discord. If you subscribe.
Yeah. If you join, you can see me in all my hotness, my glory.
Your Fabio.
My Fabio-ness. I know CD didn't care for it. I mean, I think he had stated on the Discord that he didn't care for Picard. And I've always said, I've admitted many times that I'm an easy audience when it comes to Star Trek, and I had a great time. It was a lot of fun with Picard season 1. I could understand the stuff the problems some people had with it, but I really enjoyed it. And I thought season 2 was a little more fan servicey, but the fact that it was set in 21st century Earth too, that time traveled and stuff. I mean, the integrating Q and the kind of stuff they did with him, it was fun, man. It was fun revisiting, seeing Picard do his thing again, and be.
Hey, I still haven't even started that one.
Right, I know, and that's why I haven't said a whole lot. But this third season where they're reuniting the entire bridge crew of the original of Next Generation, I am tickled pink, man. I am absolutely loving it. We know that Brent Spiner is not returning as Data. He's returning as Lore.
Yep. Which I was talking with Renee about that, and she's like, the number of zeros that had to be on that check for him to
get back in the makeup.
To get him back in the makeup, because that was the whole thing. Was the only reason he agreed to do Picard season 1 was to kill Data off.
Because that was the other thing too. He's like, I'm too old. That's one of the reasons why they killed him off in the last Star Trek movie. This is the last Next Gen movie, Nemesis, because he's like, I can't continue to play a character that doesn't age. He's like, I can't do it. So it should be interesting to see how
he hasn't signed that blood pact that Patrick Stewart did.
Right, exactly. Now, I mean, it should be interesting to see how they explain the fact that Lore does actually look older. Maybe, you know what? Lore came before Data. Maybe he had some kind of, maybe they built some kind of thing into him where he did age, or he would grow to look older, or his body. So maybe there's that. And Data didn't have that. But dude, I am so excited to see this things to see this stuff. The fact that that Worf's, he says, "Oh, I have to inform you that I prefer the the path of pacifism now." And they're like, "Great, we're gonna die." Fantastic. And then, of course, we had the other big surprise.
Moriarty.
We get to see the character of Moriarty that showed up in 2 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation, the character that was created on the holodeck.
Yep.
And
became a free-flowing or a free-roaming program.
Yes, exactly. A program with consciousness that, an AI. He basically was created. They created an AI, which, I mean, that's
an evil AI.
An evil AI. Well, he was intelligent, and the idea is that he could grow beyond the boundaries of just being Professor Moriarty from the Sherlock Holmes novels. The thing is in that when they created
Andy Don said someone who could beat Data.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Andy. That was how they created the character. Through a slip of the tongue, the computer created an AI, basically a rogue AI. So then, and in his second appearance, they had basically put him in another program to where he could explore his own kind of universe. So it should be interesting to see how they do that. Now, they've also established, thanks to the mobile emitter from Voyager, that holographic programs can then exit the holodeck and be free roaming and be an actual being. So
could actually go on away missions.
Right. And so that's an interesting kind of like concept now, that's like, if you can create life in that manner, now you just have photonic life, you have photonic based life. It's an interesting concept. So, essentially they were making AI, artificial intelligence, without the robot. Just the program and then a holographic body. So it was an interesting concept, and to see where that would go. I'm really excited to see how they're going to use that character.
One of the other big announcements, it's not in the trailer so much, but it's been announced, is that Mika Burton will be joining the cast as what's her name? Alondra LaForge.
She is playing his daughter?
She is playing his daughter.
Because I know that they were introducing her, that Geordi does have children.
He has 2 daughters. Both of them are in Starfleet. The older daughter is Ensign Sidney LaForge, who is the helmsman on the USS Titan. And that's going to be played by Ashley Sharp Chestnut.
Okay.
And then Mika Burton is playing his daughter, Alondra LaForge, who works with her dad.
Well, fucking cool, man. I like I said, I heard that they were going to be on the show. I just didn't know exactly what they were playing. That's fucking cool. Yep. I don't think, let's say, well, here's Top Cast. Let's see. It says, ooh, I pulled up the file. The fuck? Hang on.
But I just think it's cool that his actual daughter is going to play his daughter on the show.
Yeah. Mika Burton goes on and on about how much she just loved Star Trek and loves her dad, and I think I remember hearing her talk about how much she really wanted to work with him and stuff. So to have the opportunity to work with them, holy shit, that's really great. I don't think they have updated. Oh no, here it is. Worf, Geordi LaForge, Danny Daniel, Mika Burton, Ensign Alondra LaForge. Yep. And Ashley Sharp Chestnut.
Yeah, she's playing.
Ensign
so Sidney LaForge is the eldest daughter, and Alondra is supposed to be the youngest daughter.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. I think that it looks maybe that. Oh, they're only one episode.
Hey,
no,
Auntie Dawn just landed in the Discord channel.
Yeah. Oh, great. Thanks, Auntie. That's great. Welcome to the Discord channel. It only says one episode, but it says one episode for a lot of these guys. So my guess is it says one episode for Amanda Plummer as well. So Amanda Plummer is playing the villain.
Yes.
Going to be playing Vatic, who's obviously the villain of, or at least one of the villains of the story, and she looks pretty nasty. It looks like she's not just attacking Picard, but attacking what appears to be all of the Federation, or at least not the Federation.
Well, the premise is that Beverly Crusher sends out a distress signal, and Picard gathers everyone up to go find her and respond to it. And it looks like Geordi's not happy about it.
Correct. So yeah, we have Jerry Ryan returning as 7 of 9, Brent Spiner as Laura, Gates McFadden as Dr. Beverly Crusher, Michael Dorn as Worf, Ashley Sharp Chestnut as Ensign Sidney LaForge, Mika Burton as Ensign Alandra LaForge, Patrick Stewart, of course, LeVar Burton, Daniel Davis as Professor Moriarty, Jonathan Frakes as Will Riker, Amanda Plummer as Vatic, and Marina Sirtis as Deanna Troi. Boy, I tell you, I'm excited as all get out. The episode airs February 16th, right after Valentine's Day. I'm jazzed as hell.
Just before my anniversary.
2 weeks after my birthday. Exactly. 2 weeks after my birthday. Super duper excited.
So I
love it.
We should move on and let's talk She-Hulk.
Let's talk She-Hulk. Episode 8. The
only one more to go.
Yeah, I did read that unfortunately the final episode is the shortest finale of all of the shows on that they've had so far, which is it? Puzzling to me. It's only 36 minutes, which is puzzling to me. Why they would go with it? It just seems there'd be a lot to wrap up.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be longer.
That's what I'm seeing. I mean, it was clickbait, so who knows?
So this one is Jen kind of getting back from the retreat and and doing a lot of things. I'm trying to think of where it started.
Now, the previous episode also ended where we found out that Josh, the guy that she dated briefly and slept with,
and ghosted
her, he obviously took some kind of blood sample from her.
And copied her phone, and
then also uploaded, like they were copied her phone, and then uploaded a text to somebody called the Hulk King saying, "Got it, got the blood sample," or whatever. And then so she's back from the retreat, and we see.
It starts off with Leapfrog.
Right. We see this guy trying to stop these two dudes from stealing TVs from essentially a Best Buy or something. And he fails miserably. He's basically a frog-themed superhero, and it's terrible. I'm going to rip it and rip it,
rip it and rip it.
And rip it. Yeah,
rip it and rip it.
You didn't count on the guard frog. They're like,
the guard frog? That's really your name?
No, my name's Leapfrog, but I'm like, that's the joke. I'm a guard frog, and and it's but he's just thought the suit would do all the work for him, and he's terrible.
Well, and he like stomps on the one guy's foot. It's the frog stomp, and
it was fucking terrible. And then he kicks on his jet boots, and they shoot off, and
he flies into the air,
and then they give out, and they crashes and also burns the hell out of his legs.
Yeah, it catches on fire.
So now he wants to sue the guy that designed the suit, who is so he goes to Jen's the law firm she works for, JHL and K.
Yeah, JHL.
And
that's it.
And he's obviously a rich entitled asshole, and at first she finds out who designed it, and it's Luke
Well,
Jacobson.
first she's like, I think you've got a case. This is definitely malfunction and blah blah blah. And it's like, well, who's the designer? And he's like, Luke, Luke, whatever it is,
Jacobson.
Yeah. And
she
like,
goes, shit. So she goes to the boss and she's like, can I recuse myself? I mean, I like my new clothes. He's the guy that makes my clothes. I like my clothes. He goes, due to my condition, and
my unique physique.
Yeah, unique for that was it. And so he's like, hey, his father's a very important client. You need to take care of this. And she's like, oh God. All right. So then she goes to talk to Luke, and Luke is because he's a drama queen, immediately is insulted by the fact that
came in here and stabbed me in the back.
Yeah, that he would make a faulty super suit. And so he's like, oh, we're going to court, so he's trying to make her dress for the gala event that she's got to go to later. And
what's that? Oh, hold on. Jen will never get another garment made by me? Rip.
And she's like, I prepaid for that, and so so she goes, oh, we're going to court. So she takes him to court. And they go to court, and his lawyer isn't there yet. And you see this kid is an idiot. This leapfrog guy, he is a moron.
He's in court with his feet up on the desk.
Yeah, I think he's wearing shorts. I mean, it was terrible. It was not really paying attention. And they're finally, Luke's lawyer shows up. The doors open, and it's fucking Charlie Cox as Matthew Murdock.
Yep. Sorry, had trouble finding a parking spot.
Yeah. click, click, click with his cane.
Yeah.
Sits down. And we see, for everybody that, that maybe hasn't watched it, Charlie Cox plays Matthew Murdock, who is Daredevil. And we saw earlier on the show that Luke had made a helmet for Daredevil.
At least the helmet.
At least the
guessing
helmet.
He made the entire suit.
Sure, absolutely. There's no way that guy's not going to make the entire outfit.
Mm-hmm.
So he successfully kicks Jen's legal ass in court. And
part of that is because he doesn't play fair.
No, he uses his abilities.
Yeah, he uses abilities. So like they hold up like the burned suit, and you see Matt go like sniff, and he's like, what'd you use for fuel in that?
And the guy just goes, jet fuel.
Yeah.
And then Luke was like, well, that's of course they failed. You're not supposed to use jet fuel.
Yeah, that's strictly against my recommendations.
Mm-hmm. And then he goes, oh, well, it wasn't jet fuel, and they're like, you're obviously lying, And so the judge throws it out and finds in favor. And of course she's still, he's still like, he's not gonna make clothes for Jen.
Luke, I'm really sorry, can we be friends again? He's like, will you still make my thing? He's like, no, I hate you now.
Yeah. So then she's like, damn it. And then so she's going to the pub where all the lawyers go to, and there's Matt Murdock there, and he buys her a drink, and they start chatting and they start talking, and he starts saying things like, I think you are in a unique opportunity. You have the opportunity to be She-Hulk, and you have the opportunity to do good as She-Hulk, and you also have the opportunity to do good as Jennifer Walters.
He talks about doing the. He's got a small firm, but they do the jobs for them, and then for him, and then. There's always every once in a while they got to take the jobs for them.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So he does a lot of pro bono stuff, Oh, that was something else I forgot. Like at one point, one of the things that Jen wanted to do was she wanted Luke to present his client list so that they could, talk to some of the other clients and see if they had also had faulty workmanship. And Matt argued that would be a breach of client privilege, and the fact that many of his clients were superheroes, that it would put them in danger and stuff like that. And then he makes the statement,
The big
Sokovia, the Sokovia Accords have been repealed, which was huge. People went, "Oh my God, that's a big fucking deal right there," because that hadn't been established yet. Whether that the Sokovia Accords, which were established in Captain America: Civil War, about how after Avengers: Age of Ultron, that where superhumans had to register and they had to present their identities to the government so that at least the government knew who they were and things like that. And the reason why the Avengers in the movies split up, because some of them agreed with the Sokovia Accords and some didn't. And so, so that was a big deal.
Way bigger deal in the comics than it was in the movie.
Oh yeah, for sure. Much. Like in the comics, Civil War was an immense story. It was, and honestly, really good one too.
Yeah. It was a huge fight, not like 5v5.
No. It was the superhero community was split down the middle, and it was, I mean, sometimes even members of the same teams had split up because of their opinions on the matter. I mean, the Fantastic Four themselves, like Sue went on the side of the rebels and Reed was on the side of the government, and he's like, "What, you mean you don't think this is a good idea?" And she's like, "No, of course I don't think it's a good idea." And the thing wouldn't take a side. He went to France. It was great. No, he was like, "You know what? I'm not fighting my friends. This is stupid." And he left. He was like, "You guys can figure this out. When you're done, let me know, because I'm not fighting my friends." And I was like, that's fucking awesome. I think he did end up coming back at the end when a lot of the superheroes were like, when they kind of had figured out that that the registering was a bad idea. I'd have to look through the books again, but honestly, Civil War was an immensely good comic story. So, but yeah, so establishing that the Sokovia Accords have been done away with, that's a big story element. It's a big story element. So anyway, we go back and they're in the bar, and he's really, he's impressing upon Jennifer that, you could really be doing some good for people beyond just being a lawyer. And I think that started to hit home with her. So at one point she's back at her apartment and she gets a call.
Well, he gets a call. They both get calls.
Yeah, they both get calls.
And she ignores hers, and he's like, and he takes his, and he's like, "Sorry, I gotta go." I mean,
so he splits, and then she goes home, and she gets a call.
She has to go meet up with.
Oh, that's right.
Douchebag.
Yes, and he talks about how he bought a vibranium spear, a Wakandan vibranium spear. It was a milli, and she's just looking at him,
staring at him like
he goes, $1 million. $1 million, and he's trying to impress her, obviously.
He's like, I'm really into, like I studied abroad in Wakanda, I feel kind of, connected, Wakanda forever.
Yeah, he yells it though. Wakanda forever. And she's like, "Oh no."
Yeah, she's like, "No, that makes me uncomfortable." No.
Comfortable, yeah. That was hilarious. So yeah, she it was not good. But she's in her She-Hulk form too. She's obviously there in the capacity as a lawyer, and he's hitting on her. He's pouring wine, and he's like, and she's finally like, no. And she gets up and she just kind of like shoves the table. Because he
reached over and like took her hand.
Yeah. And she's that last straw. And because that's creepy as fuck. You don't do that. You don't call a meeting with a lawyer and then hit on her.
Well, he forced her into it too. He's like, I was assured that GLH and K was 24/7 service, and do I need to call what's his name and verify that?
Yeah. And she's like, oh. And then but she does. She like when he finally like touches her, and she's like, nope, and then she slides back. She shoves the table into him so that he's like,
spills all the wine.
Spills the probably very expensive wine, and then she walks away and she's like, "I'm billing you for the full hour." So then she like I said, then she's back at her apartment. I forgot about that. That was really funny. But that's where we also start to think. I mean, like the internet has kind of been like, I think that guy's a bad guy. I think that dude's a bad guy. And I think that guy's a bad guy too. I think he's part of the intelligentsia. So unless they do some kind of red herring thing, which they could. I mean, they did with Hawkeye. So, but I think he's the Hulk King personally. And they established that or anyway, she goes back to her apartment. She gets another call, and it's Leapfrog. And he's in his frogmobile or where the fuck is. And there's somebody attacking me. And she's like,
you see like the window get broken out, and
and he's like, and she's like, okay, where are you? And he tells her, and I'm at the lily pad. The what? And she says, that's my secret base. And she's like, what?
Yeah.
So she does meet up with him, and he's at a parking garage.
Yeah, he said something about a parking garage where she's like, you're not that far. I'll be right there.
Right. And so she goes to leave, but then she thinks about it. She's like, and she goes into the closet, and you see her unzip and grab a garment, and we're like, oh man, is she gonna have? And then we see her, because we see that it's Daredevil is on the top of the car.
Yep.
And is trying to stop this guy, and it's a green Volkswagen Bug or something like that.
No, it's a green. It's like a green Mazda or something like that.
But it was very frog-like.
Yes.
This car is very frog-like, and Daredevil's trying to stop him. He's trying to get to him, and so Jen steps in, and she's like, "Hey, stop harassing my client."
Well, yeah, she stops the car with her leg.
Right. Yeah.
And Daredevil goes flying, and she's like, "You get out of here."
Yeah, and so he does. He pieces the fuck out, and then she and Daredevil proceed to get in a superhero fight, which is such a cliche. They fight, then they team up. Yeah.
I'm gonna what was it? I'm gonna kick your ass. It wasn't kick your ass. It was something, and he runs away as she collapses the ground.
Yeah,
and he jumps up on the car. He's like, my ass is it was like unkicked or whatever, and
unkicked or something like that. But I mean, he holds his own, because he just avoids her the entire time. Because if she connects with him, he's ketchup. I mean, there's just no.
Well, and then she does the sonic.
The sonic slap, and the clap, or the clap. It's the sonic clap, and
knocks him down, and that just fucked him up.
Yeah, because of his hearing,
yep.
And of course that made sense. So she's able to grab him and pull his mask off. And
she pulls him up, and he's like, Jen, and she's like, what? And pulls his mask off.
Yeah, and she's like, are you pretending to be blind? Because that's really shit. He goes, no, I am blind. I'm blind. She's like, I see other ways, and explain to her, and she's like,
oh, you mean like echolocation?
Yeah. It's more than that, but okay. But they they're discussing, they're talking it out, and she's in the outfit, she's in the purple and white, and it's fucking great. It looked great. I gotta say, man, I've seen a lot of translations from the comic book to the movie kind of thing, and I mean comic book to live action, and that is a really good She-Hulk suit. I mean, her suit, her outfit is not complicated. She's always kind of had like a unitard, and a purple unitard with white elements on it, unless she was with the FF, and then she wore like an FF uniform. But that one, it just really sang for me, man. It was really great.
Yeah. Well, and before that, even he flips down the side of the parking garage.
Yeah.
And she just jumps down, and all of a sudden, and this is one of the things that got me. She is so nonchalant about causing massive property damage.
Dude, yeah, that's what I said too.
I'm like,
picks up a
first
car.
of all, the garage, and then she just randomly picks up somebody's car and chucks it at him.
Throws it at him. She goes, that's a very expensive fucking automobile, right?
Yeah, it is. And they make a note about it later, because after she knocks him down and everything like that, and he says,
after they're getting ready to leave,
he's like, you threw somebody's car at me. She's like, oh yeah, I should probably leave a note.
Yeah. And then the massive property damage that she did. I mean, she is a Hulk, so maybe she has some kind of insurance, but Jesus Christ, I was like, man, that's some expensive shit right there. So, but they basically discover that Leapfrog, who's actually a bad guy.
Yeah. Well, that's what he tells him. It tells her, it's like, hey, he's the bad guy.
Yeah, because he kidnapped Luke to make him a new suit. And in the comic books, Leapfrog started off as Frogman, who was a villain. He was a minor villain, like a frog-based supervillain, and he was dumb. He was a failure villain, you know. He was like, and then I believe eventually what happened is in the comic books, the original Leapfrog or Frogman, I think it was Frogman, and then his son took the suit and made some improvements because it was just a suit of armor basically, and then tried to become a superhero called Leapfrog. And we've seen him show up here and there over the years. In fact, I think he most recently showed up in some issues of Iron Man as like support staff and shit for Iron Man. And because he was an engineer, the guy designed a suit that allowed him to jump great distances and had some minor super strength and shit like that. So he started off as a supervillain and then became a superhero. This time around, we see, I think it was a really smart way to do it. You see a rich, entitled, dipshit guy who just thinks that he can do whatever he wants because he's rich.
Wants to be a superhero.
You know, and he wants to be a superhero, and okay, then he's going to be a superhero. So he actually has the lily pad,
a giant neon letters,
a big neon letter sign lily pad over this warehouse building that he has turned into a headquarters. He's got henchmen or goons.
Yeah, and it's funny, there's a difference.
There is a difference. Henchmen believe in the goal of the villain. Yeah, the goons are just in it for the paycheck. Oh, okay, great. But yeah, it was funny.
That discussion I thought was hilarious.
It was. The dialogue between the two was really great because, you know, he's like, "You stay here," and I'll take it. She goes,
all right, there's 10 guys in the hallway. I'm going to take them out. It'll take me 15 seconds per guy, and then, you know, you just stay here until everything's done. And she's like, I'm not waiting a half an hour for you to take out those guys. He's like, that's not how that math works.
Right. She's like, I don't care. I'm not waiting. He's like, how long have you been doing this? I've been doing this I don't care. I'm a Hulk. Let me do my thing, you know? And so they go in together and...
Well, he goes in by himself.
Well, he goes in and then she goes after him.
Yeah.
And...
he crashes through the roof and he's like, again with the property damage.
Yeah. It's funny because she just kind of walks through walls and shit. She doesn't like, you know... She's not even like punching first. She just kind of runs through a wall, you know. It's like she's running through fucking tissue paper, you know. You got to figure it. It's got to be a feeling like something like if you were running through paper, you know. And but yeah, so then they proceed to like Daredevil proceeds to kick the shit out of the henchmen, and she knocks a couple away, and she picks up a Frogger game and throws it or whatever, and he's like, hey, that's vintage, you know.
Of course he's got a Frogger game.
Of course he's got a Frogger game. Why wouldn't he have a Frogger game? He's got a frog fetish, apparently. And he's got Jacobson, like, basically, you know, handcuffed to a sewing machine and whatever, and he's like,
I want it to be bulletproof, and you know what? Give me one of those computers that talks to me in
a British accent. Yeah. Stupid. And then he goes, but yeah, and she goes up to him and she's like, hey, and he's strapping on the suit that the guy's on, whatever he's already made, or maybe it was the old suit, I don't know. But he's like, you know, we could say, you know, temporary insanity, we could do this, and Daredevil's off on the side, you know, giving her further legal advice.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, you know, that's not a bad idea, but
it's a pretty good strategy, and you know, you could use this and this and
he's like, is he a lawyer too? And he's saying, no, I'm just a fan of lawyer shows, you know.
As he's kicking the shit out of people.
Yeah. And then but then he goes to try and rip it and rip it again, or whatever, rip it and rip it. And he jumps out the window and falls. and probably breaks both his legs.
Yeah, you know? That's what it looked like, was he broke his legs.
And so they were able to get Luke, they were able to save Luke, and he's like, okay, you know, well, I'll make your dress now. And
yeah, you know, okay, like, yeah, I guess we're even.
And she goes, thanks for being, you know, mutually kind of acquaintance business people again.
Strained business acquaintance.
Strange business acquaintance, yeah. That was really funny. I was like, I mean, man, it was the show just, I mean, honestly, just keeps getting better and better. And so And then the funny thing is Stella said to me at one point, because they're talking, right? Matt and Jen afterwards, like they're on the roof.
Yeah, they're sitting there talking. She's back in Jen form.
Yeah, and it's funny too that like she also made mention about his yellow and red costume too, But so wait, the color scheme is condiments,
ketchup and mustard.
And he's like, yeah, ha ha ha, which is funny though, because
and he's like, I'll tell Luke that you said something. He said, no.
But it's funny too because that is Daredevil's original costume. His original costume was yellow and red.
I actually saw a thing online that it was the ketchup and mustard crew, and it was Daredevil, Deadpool, Wolverine. It was like showing all of them,
all their old costumes
in yellow and red.
Yeah,
Iron Man I think was there, and
Iron Man's gold and red, but yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was pretty funny though. And then they but then they're talking on the roof, and they're connecting because they're both lawyers and they're both superhumans.
Maybe next time I'm in town I can take you to dinner.
Yeah, because
when are you leaving?
But the funny thing is Stella says, she says, "You think they're gonna hook up?" And I go, "Nah, I don't think so." And then what happens? They go back to her place and hook up.
Yeah, she's like maybe we could just skip all that and then they show them going into her place.
Right. And it's funny. I mean, it goes to show, like, in the comics, Jen has often been depicted as being promiscuous or being at least very confident, and to the point where she's got no problem taking a guy back to her place and doing that if she wants to. But because our culture tends to frown on that, a lot of people have said that's a negative thing. I was like, well, it's already called her a tramp or a whore or whatever, which is so ridiculous.
Slut shaming thing.
Yeah, it's a slut shaming thing. That's absolutely ridiculous. And so I do like the fact that that she's got no problem with it. She's absolutely, hey, this is great, and
women can like sex too.
Absolutely.
And can want to have sex too.
Absolutely, and should have as much as they want. Absolutely. So like I said, I liked how they were kind of showing that, hey, she's having a good time, So then, and
then the best scene in the entire show is the next day.
And it's not even a scene; it's just a shot, really.
Yeah. It's a nice sunny day and a sidewalk, and it's a woman walking her dog in her like night dress.
And you see Daredevil walking along with his boots in hand.
Yeah, in full costume except for his boots, barefoot.
For his boots, barefoot, doing the walk of shame. Now, personally, I don't find that to be a walk of shame. Hey, that's a walk of that's a walk of pride.
That's right,
right there. And but it was just so goddamn funny because he's just like hey, and walking along. And the woman just walks by walking her dog, doesn't even really react.
It doesn't react because it's LA.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. There aren't a whole lot of superheroes in LA, but they still see weird shit in LA because it's LA. But so anyway, so then Jen is just like, we thought the episode was over. And
that's the thing. So then we get back to Jen's apartment and Nikki comes in.
Yeah.
And mentions the whole thing about and Jen comes walking out.
She addresses the camera though.
Yeah.
And she's like, "You guys are still here? I thought
the
episode was over,
Oh yeah.
And then that's when Nikki.
It's kind of weird, isn't it? And then Nikki comes in, she's like, "Wait a minute. Doesn't it feel like this episode should be over?"
But it's funny because then Nikki goes, I saw a guy in a devil costume
doing the walk of shame.
Doing the walk of shame, and she's like,
"Oh, that was you."
Oh, yeah, was it you? And then and then she comes out, and it's so funny because.
And I love that she's like, it feels like the episode should be over. It came to a satisfying conclusion. I will tell you that it did.
Very satisfying conclusion. I was like, yeah, all right. But yeah, and then she realizes, oh my God, wait, this is the next to last episode. The last episode.
Wait.
Are we doing the gala tonight?
We're doing the gala? Because Nikki's like, we gotta get you ready for the gala and blah blah blah. And
she comes out, with her makeup brushes and like. It's like, I have to make you beautiful or whatever.
It was a very Wolverine.
It was very Wolverine. Very Wolverine. So then she, then the next shot is her in the gown and coming out of the car in the gown, and Nikki's behind her.
And both of them throwing their hair back. And
it's just like the slow-mo. hair flowing kind of thing, and her parents are there, and but then you also see
You didn't
her
wear a
parents showing up.
jacket? What if you get cold?
She's like, and he's like, she can wear mine. It's fine. I love that her father is like this long-suffering man. That is like his wife is just like, oh, this busybody. And she goes, it won't fit, you know. And it's like, whatever. And then, but then she also sees the rich douchebag.
Well,
in there
she
too.
goes to wave to her boss,
Mm-hmm.
and then the crowd moves, and douchebag's right there, and he's like,
right. And she just moves them in, and she's like, "Oh God, ugh."
Yeah, come on,
So
let's go. We gotta go in. We gotta go in.
But they're sitting at the table, and they're like, "Okay, well, they're gonna honor these women lawyers," and it was really gross to me, you know. This gala.
Dude, the guy that was doing it was just an ass.
Yeah, because it was like
such a chauvinist.
Well, it looked very much like it was like a beauty contest, you know. Mm-hmm. It was like more like they were being honored because they were women. And then he's asking him, well, how do you feel about being a woman lawyer? And I loved how Mallory Book.
Oh, I loved her response.
Oh man, like, you know, that, what was it? Something like
twice the work, half the recognition.
Yeah, and having to answer questions like, how do you feel about being a woman lawyer?
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable. I was like, oh, so good. And then, but the funny thing about it too is like, hey, babe.
Female lawyer. That's an important distinction.
Female lawyer. Yeah. That's right. Female lawyer. Well, not woman lawyer. Female lawyer. Thank you, babe. So yeah, that's a peanut gallery back there. But no, she was what? It's very valid. And
yep.
But it was also funny too that they honored like Jen, and then like
they gave the award to all of them.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, there's probably more than just those like 6 or 8 female, you know, women lawyers in Los Angeles, but still, dude, you know, I don't know, you just make a big deal out of the like having this gala, but then they're gonna give it to all of them. Yeah, that was cowardly, I think. Mm-hmm. You know, they're like, oh man, we gotta give the award to all these women, or they're gonna have a hissy fit or whatever. Like, you motherfuckers, you know. It was just the whole thing made me cringe a little bit, but I liked it but it was supposed to. Mm-hmm. That whole situation was supposed to make you cringe.
Yep.
Because it so much of this show has been about women's struggles.
Yeah, and what women have to go through on a daily basis.
Right. Exactly. And I love how how it has, and it's been depicted as such. So then, you know, Jennifer's up there and she's getting ready to like thank her parents and thank the people that she cares
I just want to take this moment to thank my parents, my friends, my you know, all this, and then all of a sudden the video starts going in the background.
Yeah, the intelligentsia break into the feed and they start showing the cloned shit from her phone.
Yeah, and they're like, here's who Jen Walters it really is, and they show like all of her Tinder
shit and her private stuff.
Yeah. And then a video of her and what's his name getting together?
Josh.
Yeah.
So obviously he videoed them.
Yep. Well, you see him setting it up before she comes out of the bathroom, but
you don't see his face, you know. And then and then they slut shame her, and then they even
call her a slut on there. Yeah. One of the things they say is she's a slut.
Mm-hmm. And then you also see that off to the side, she sees them. Well, she sees that and she hulks out. She freaks out. She smashes the video display.
Yeah. Mallory even says, Jen, don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And she smashes the video display and she loses it, you know, because
and then she turns around and she sees guys in masks all filming it.
Yeah. So she goes after him and like she runs through the wall to get them, and she does grab one and she goes to pull his mask off or whatever. And people are running.
She's screaming. Like, she's fully hulked out. She is the savage She-Hulk at this point.
Yeah, she's real. I mean, I don't think she is beyond. I mean, she stopped herself.
She does stop herself, but she's at that point where she is. Yeah. She is much more savage than we've seen her.
Yeah, this point. It took at least since the first episode when she hulked out the first time and the Hulk had to like tackle her. I think it took her having guns pointed at her and having all of those
damage
security
control
guys show
just
up.
happened to be there.
Yeah, that's what.
And ready to go right there.
Right, exactly. So my guess for the final episode, we're going to see her being brought up on charges, and or something, and she's probably, and I wouldn't be surprised if Charlie Cox is in the episode again and defends her.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I think because I don't know if he signed on for 2 episodes or not, but I
sure.
do think we're going to see who the intelligentsia are and who
we're going to find out who Hulk King is and
because like I said, honest to God, it's really just a fantastic show, fantastic episode. They have been nonstop good, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
I am too. I think this show is fantastic. So
another real quick thing too, they also just as before we go, they released a full trailer for Wednesday, the Addams Family show that's going to be on Netflix.
I have not seen that yet, but I definitely want to check it out.
Trailer looks fun, man. I think it looks great. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. You got the guy playing Uncle Fester is what's his name from Saturday Night Live? Oh man, hang on. It's pulling it up here. The cast is Fred Armisen is playing Uncle Fester.
Yes.
It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Gwendolyn Christie is in it. Jenna Ortega plays Wednesday. You got Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia. Luis Guzman as Gomez. Ricky Lindholm is in it from Garfunkel and Oates. Thora Birch is in it. Wow, Thora Birch. We haven't seen much of her in a long time. And even excuse me, even Christina Ricci has a small part, I believe. Yeah, Marilyn Thornhill, and it looks like 8 episodes, so she's in the whole thing. So looks like a lot of fun. You guys might want to check that out. And from the mind of Tim Burton. So anyway, She-Hulk tomorrow, the episode is Thursday, correct? Or is it Wednesday?
What? She-Hulk? It'll be Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, right? Yeah, tomorrow. And guys, if you're not watching She-Hulk, you're fucking missing out.
Yeah,
really.
And CD wanted us to mention that there is going to be a new Mario movie. They're doing a sequel to the 90s Super Mario Brothers movie. So
I don't think it's a sequel to that Mario movie. It's just a Super Mario Brothers movie.
No, I'm pretty sure they said it was a sequel. Maybe not, but I thought that's what it was. But it's not a sequel, he said.
It's animated, it's not a sequel. Yeah, okay. It's just that's the thing, and it's got Chris what's his name? Star-Lord does the voice of Mario.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like they don't like it because I think they're saying that he put a little bit of like an Italian accent in there, and it
it's a Mario.
The thing is I didn't hear it. I watched the trailer and I just heard a guy. Or maybe they're upset that he doesn't have an Italian. I don't know. But
his take is not bueno.
And then his take is not bueno. But they also, Jack Black is doing the voice of King Koopa.
I really can't say I have any interest. I was never a huge Mario fan. I mean, I played it back in the Nintendo days. I played Mario Brothers. I played those, but that was never my jam. That wasn't the one I really liked.
I played a lot of the Mario games. I mean, like CD says, I'll probably watch it eventually. I played a lot of the Mario games over the years, but I mean, I think after Mario 3, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. Because I didn't have, I mean, there had like Super Mario World and some of these other ones from the Dreamcast and all these other like the GameCube, and I didn't have those systems. So, but I did like the Mario games. I was killer at the original Mario Brothers, the original Super Mario Brothers.
I got pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And then
Because how many video game movies are there? There's not many. But the thing is, though, the Super Mario Brothers movie with John Leguizamo and what's his fuck? The guy
Zelda would be a good movie.
Zelda's a good idea, sure. But the original Super Mario Brothers movie is considered one of the worst movies of all time. And it was the first video game movie. It was the first movie based on a video game. You can see I got lots of paint on my head here. It was the first video game movie, and it is considered probably the worst. And that's one of the reasons why, and they say, a lot of people feel that it's one of the reasons why most video game movies stunk for the longest time. Most movies based on video game properties, for some reason, were awful. Now, that's not always the case. I mean, Tomb Raider was good. The first two, I think, were pretty good. And there have been good video game movies, but they're fewer.
I haven't seen Uncharted yet, but I've heard bad things.
I heard it was fun. Now,
my thing with the Zelda movie would be, though, that you're just going to have this guy dressed up as an elf running around breaking pots all over the place.
Right, yeah, exactly. Mortal Kombat, the first Mortal Kombat. A lot of people, I don't know if they necessarily call it a good movie, but it was a successful movie.
I kind of liked it. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was.
Yeah. No, I liked it too.
Get over here.
Goro was ridiculous, but the Van Damme. Street Fighter. Oh my God, Street Fighter was so bad, dude.
And what's horrible is that was Raul Julia's last movie.
It was his last movie.
Such a talented actor, and
he did it because his kids loved the game, and he was dying of cancer when he did that movie too. But he just chewed scenery like with the best of them. It was really something. It's watching that movie is painfully fun though. I mean, there's it's just.
It's so over the top bad.
It's so bad. It comes back around again, and it's fun. So
kind of movie you make a drinking game out of.
Yeah, very much so.
But yeah,
so like there's been a few there, but just there haven't. It's hard to name. I'm like the movie Doom, the movie based on the game Doom, was one of the few movies that that Dwayne Johnson has done that flopped. It was considered bad.
Mm-hmm.
So many other ones. There just hasn't been that many based on video game properties, and there's really no reason for it. There's a lot of these games have rich stories and stuff. I mean, we've got a TV show being based on The Last of Us, and people are saying that it's going to be a tour de force. So we'll see.
Honestly, I'd love to see like a Horizon show.
Sure,
a Horizon
Absolutely.
TV show, because something set in that world, I think would be fucking amazing.
I think a show set in that world would be great, but I don't think I wouldn't want it to star Aloy. I would want it to feature other characters or other people in that world. So, but yeah, we need to wrap things up.
Yeah, we do.
It's 2 hours in. So, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. It's been fun, like it always is. We're guys, be sure to join us every Tuesday night here at 8:00. I may be a little more scarce for the next few weeks because of work, unfortunately. But Chris will be here for sure with maybe other guests. I don't know.
Well, it ain't gonna just be me. Nobody wants to hear me talk by myself for an hour, or an hour and a half.
Maybe. Squawking at the universe. Guys, be sure to join us every Tuesday night, 8:00 here for Nerds with Alcohol. Guys, every other Friday we do Tavern Nights on this channel as well at 7:30. Although we will not be gaming this Friday coming up. Chris, I've got Theater Bazaar. Chris has got something that he's got going on, so we will not be doing the show.
We'll be back in 2 weeks, though.
But we will be back in the following 2 weeks, correct?
For our Halloween show.
Ooh.
So get ready for a costume.
Shit. So yeah.
Just remember, you got a game in the outfit, so
I'm not. Yeah, no.
But don't show up as Oliver, because that might be a little tough.
It'd be uncomfortable. At least I'm not wearing the boots. So you guys can download and stream us at all the places you can find quality podcasts. You guys, we're on the Google Play Store. We're on iTunes. Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, radio.com, Odyssey app, all of the places. Guys, you can also download and stream the show from nerdswithalcoholshow.com. Be sure to get it there. Most probably I won't have my Barry White voice next time.
Barry voice?
My Barry voice, my Barry White voice next time. So be sure to soak this in while you can. This is my Alan Allman voice, actually. Remember Alan Allman when we were kids?
Pillow Talk.
Pillow Talk on WNIC.
Yeah.
100.3 WNIC. I hated that shit.
You can follow us on most of the social medias. We're on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show. We are on Twitter at Drinking Nerds, Instagram Drinking Nerds, and YouTube Drinking Nerds. Like I said before, last night on Tavern Talk, we are pretty much anywhere you can find. You look up Drinking Nerds, you're probably going to find us.
Yeah, pretty much.
So have a good week. I think that's going to about do it.
That should do it.
So on that note. Until next time. Slancha. That was pretty good.
That's all right.
All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Good night.